Welcome back to Property Report UK, the channel where we break down the biggest stories shaping Britain's housing market with clarity, credibility, and expert analysis you won't hear anywhere else. Today's report covers a crisis unfolding quietly behind the scenes, one set to reshape the entire housing landscape over the next 24 months. Mortgage lenders know it, the government knows it, and millions of homeowners are about to feel it, whether they're prepared or not. What you're about to hear is not speculation, not clickbait, and not theory. It is the real-world consequence of expiring mortgage deals, rising interest rates, and a financial system running on assumptions that no longer match reality. So settle in, because this is the story of how the UK is entering the most severe mortgage shock in modern history. Let's begin with one family in Surrey, a case that illustrates what's coming for millions. After 15 years of perfect repayments, they received a letter from their lender announcing that their mortgage would jump from £14 a month to over £3,100. Nothing in their lives changed except one thing: their fixed-rate deal ended. They now face a choice between selling their family home or waiting for the repossession process to begin. And they are not alone. Between now and January 2026, 3.2 million UK households will experience the same moment. Not because they borrowed irresponsibly, not because something unusual happened to their income, but because the system that encouraged them to borrow at historically low rates is now punishing them as those rates snap back. This wave of expiring mortgages isn't a distant warning, it is a schedule, already written, already published, and already known by banks and government officials. Between 2020 and 2022, millions of families took out mortgages at 1% to 3% interest. Borrowing felt safe. Advisors said low rates were the new normal. Banks were comfortable approving loans at 5 times income because payments looked manageable. A household borrowing £300,000 at 2.5% paid around £1,300 per month. Today, at 6%, that same loan costs over £2,400. That's an extra £13,000 a year more than many families spend on food. And the situation is far worse for households encouraged to max out affordability under the old rules. A couple earning £70,000 a year could secure a £450,000 mortgage when rates were 2%. Now, the monthly repayment on that loan is approaching £3,000 a month, more than many families earn after tax. These aren't people living beyond their means. They followed professional advice. They played by the rules. But the rules changed not gradually, not gently, but violently. The industry calls this a payment shock. In reality, it is a financial cliff edge. Take Sarah and Mark from Manchester, a teacher and an electrician. They bought their first home just a few years ago on a 1.9% deal, paying £1,200 a month. Today they're facing payments of £2,700. They've taken on extra work, side jobs, tutoring sessions, but they cannot bridge an extra £1,500 a month. They've already missed payments, received default notices, and are now preparing to rent a property that costs more than their original mortgage. They will likely lose their £30,000 deposit, £15,000 in mortgage payments, their credit score, their ability to re-enter the housing market for years. Their story is being repeated across the country. Hundreds of thousands of people who believed they were building security are discovering they were building vulnerability. And it isn't only homeowners. Britain's buy-to-let sector is about to undergo its own collapse. More than 800,000 landlord mortgages are set to expire by early 2026. Most landlords took out loans when rates were low, aiming for a modest monthly profit. But when mortgage costs rise from £11 to £2,000 or more, even a rent increase cannot cover the gap. Landlords now face 3 choices, none of them good. Pay the difference out of their own income. Sell the property and exit the market. Let the property fall into repossession. Every option removes rental homes from the market. The result? A shrinking supply of rental properties, just as hundreds of thousands of former homeowners are forced into renting. Demand skyrockets. Supply collapses. Rents surge. This isn't a rental crisis, it's the creation of a rental emergency. Another danger is quietly forming negative equity. Families who bought with 90–95% mortgages at peak pandemic prices are discovering that property values have slipped just enough to trap them. A £400,000 home bought with a 10% deposit becomes a £340,000 home when prices fall by 15%. But the remaining mortgage, still £360,000. That means families trying to sell would have to pay £20,000 just to walk away. For people already struggling with doubled mortgage payments, that's impossible. Negative equity turns homeowners into prisoners. They can't sell. They can't remortgage. They can't escape. This is how a financial crisis becomes a humanitarian one. Behind closed doors, major lenders are preparing for a tsunami. Bad debt provisions up more than 200% at some banks. Hundreds of new staff hired into arrears and repossession departments. Stress tests modeling house price falls of 30% and unemployment rising sharply. Banks do not prepare like this for mild turbulence. They prepare like this for a storm. Meanwhile, these same institutions continue to advertise new mortgages to unsuspecting families, knowing full well what's coming. While working families prepare to lose homes, investors domestic and international are preparing to buy them. Private equity firms, sovereign wealth funds, pension funds, global property giants. Many have raised billions specifically to buy homes from forced sellers. They don't see a tragedy. They see a shopping spree. These buyers aren't looking for homes to live in. They're looking for assets, properties they can hold, flip, subdivide, or rent at inflated prices. The result? A transfer of ownership from ordinary families to the world's richest institutions. Throughout all this, the government has remained strikingly quiet. They could have expanded mortgage support schemes, forced lenders to offer term extensions, provided emergency assistance similar to furlough, introduced temporary payment caps. But they didn't. Instead, they focused on stabilizing the banking system and protecting property values, not protecting homeowners. The message is clear: preserve the market, protect investors, let households absorb the shock. As we move deeper into 2025 and 2026, the consequences begin to compound. Consumer spending collapses. Small businesses fail. Councils face homelessness numbers they cannot manage. Families are relocated miles away. Children's schooling is disrupted. Mental health services are overwhelmed. Every part of society is affected. And all the while, the housing market shifts from one where families build security to one where institutions accumulate assets. By late 2026, repossessions will surge dramatically. By 2027, hundreds of thousands of homes will have changed ownership, most moving from individuals to investment groups. Homeownership, a pillar of British society for decades, is on track to fall below 50%. And once it drops, climbing back will be almost impossible. We are watching the early stages of a generational shift, from a nation of homeowners to a nation of tenants, where large corporations control the rental supply and ordinary families face permanent insecurity. Unless policy changes urgently and dramatically, this will define Britain's economic future. This is Property Report UK, bringing you the housing stories that matter, the ones affecting real families, real communities, and the future of homeownership in Britain. If you found this report valuable, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more expert analysis on the UK housing market. We break down the complex events shaping the property landscape so you can stay informed, prepared, and empowered. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next update.